this mother such and such down with you in it, and I mean every word of it. And I mean that. But the problem is we have been allowing these people to be deviant towards us for too many years. And now you got all these old scary cats out here talking about we just gonna let the Lord handle it. Well, guess what? I'm gonna be the right hand of God. I handle it from here.
You are too much. Let's welcome one more person to the conversation. 254-723. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks, Val. Good evening, everybody. I just got out of a meeting, but you know one of the things, and somebody just took the words right out of my. I've been fighting police for 250 officers a day for the last 2 years in the immediate workplace. Probably the most hated police officer by police officers in the country. And Nate said it best. You have to get to a point where you say enough is enough, and it's going to cost me. I got to take some blows. But the thing is, we lose and get worn down because we do not study our enemy and pick our fight.
Right.
And then when we do pick a fight, we become subdivided by other side issues that are not our political or not our issue, but they're a political issue, they're a socioeconomic issue that is not the immediate issue that we need to be fighting. So our group of 50 is worn down to 30, which is then subdivided to 15, which is worn down to 10. Then you got 5 folks out there on the battlefield with everybody else up in the cheerleading section. You know, we have to first understand when we pick a fight to be in, we have to understand the opponent, his strengths, and his weaknesses. And what I've seen with a lot of black leadership, and I mean I'm talking about the people that are out there making money on other people's conditions, there are 2 types of people. You got your shotgun and you got your sniper. We got too many shotguns. They're making a lot of noise and spraying a bunch of pellets around and ain't hurting nobody when they're up there speaking. And we don't see Malcolm was a sniper. When Malcolm spoke, somebody fell, and everybody wondered where it came from. See, when a sniper fires, the battlefield stops, and everybody wants to know, where did that happen? Because the sniper
takes out the leader. That's what.
So,
that's retired Stan Mason, y'all.
And then when we go into the fight,
we want to make sure that everybody knows why you're qualified to speak the way that you are. Can you just real quickly, I know you just recently retired days ago, but can you tell the listening audience and the panel, those of us the people who do not know, your position. And then I do have a couple questions. We are down to our last 20 minutes, so I do want to make sure that we make a point and get back around to people to get final words, because we want to make sure that we're very clear the message that we're trying to send, to people listening, but also to people who, again, you don't want to arm the wrong people and they end up hurting the cause versus helping it. That's my only point. So, Officer Stan, retired Officer Stan, can you share with us your backstory?
Sure, I'll be real brief. I've been a police officer in Waco, Texas for 25 years, 11 years in the Air Force prior to that. I grew up in Pennsylvania. I've seen, I'm black. I've seen the things that police officers do and what the legal system does. And I reached the point where I got sick of it. And being in it, you know things about the profession that people on the outside don't know. So I took it upon myself to start. I started out doing Facebook Live sessions where I would teach people how to survive traffic stops, things the cops can do, can't do, what you should do, shouldn't do. And it bloomed into, my show, Behind the Blue Curtain, to where, we pick hot topics and different things and we talk about them. And, when we talk about fighting, the people that I treasure the most are not people with commas and celebrities and hashtags. I like when these people who are living through the condition we're talking about call up, because a lot of us, me included, we tend to view things from our experience level. But when you got people who is actually going through it, can tell you what happened yesterday. These are the people that need to be included in the conversation and in the fight, and they need to be some of the people you put out front. Because when they go to shoot the message down, it's hard to argue with somebody who says, well, I came from opioid addiction. I came from homelessness. I've been discriminated against. This was the experience I went through. these people, we typically mute them. We want them there for numbers, but they never seem to get the mic. And they are sometimes our most powerful weapons that we can use in the struggle for human rights, racial equality, against racial injustice, especially when you're dealing with municipalities such as policing, the criminal justice system, or the courts.
Yes. Thank you for that. Real quick, again, I want to, because I'm trying, by the end of the show, I hope that we can find a nice, happy medium, because like I said, everybody is not qualified to do what Nate suggested, and then how can we, find a happy medium between you and the Nate protest, so to speak. I'll just name it at that. I'll just leave it there. But I wanted you to quickly, because they seem to always find a way to hide behind a law. And it really, really pissed me off when I was listening to an explanation where someone kind of basically kind of exegeted the text, and they were kind of, analyzing the whole situation. And the guy who they hired as the expert, who was part of the interview, he had the audacity to say that there's a California law that's been active since 1872 that justify using deadly force against this person. So they were justified, and that really, really pissed me off, because again, it's like they were saying, hey, the officers fear for their life, and that's what they always say. But what do we do when they have laws to protect them? When you know that they're wrong, how do you fight that?
Val, that's where elections come in, and people we get caught up in voting color and not voting principle. I think that a lot of these
background noise. I apologize.
Yeah, as a police officer, a lot of these laws, contrary to popular belief, the same laws that protect me protect you. Okay, there is no caveat. There's a degree. If somebody shoots me and shoots you, of course, the charge on me is higher. But there are more laws protecting us than other citizens. What has happened is the communities have been lulled into this false sense of security that we're heroes and we're something to be worshipped, when in fact I get paid to risk my life. Every day I walk out that door, I have a choice. I can say I'm done, or I go out the door and do the job. But communities have fallen into worshiping us to such a point that the thought of a police officer being killed is deplorable, and somehow we've got to always side on their side. Never mind the fact that we're going into hostile incidents, but the criminal justice system still, to this day, has not seen that, number one, black people are people. We're not cannon fodder. We're not this emotionalist thing. We're not the face of violence in America. That's statistically proven. You can go to the UCR reporting at the FBI website. It'll tell you that. But we first have to grab these facts. Sit me in front of these people and let me get the facts out about the shootings and the murders and the rapists that are in this country that the FBI operates on. Then we have to ask ourselves, why is the FBI choosing to not operate on these things? Why aren't the federal judges going by the statistics that are on the books? Why do we receive the harshest sentences? See, it's okay for us to be caught up in the moment on the one case and then move to the next, but we got to put our foot down and say, this one is the one we're staying with. We're going to understand the other cases, but they will continually do that. There are two things with the law that they don't tell people, and the judge will tell you this. In every law, you have a letter of the law and spirit of the law. What does the law say? No breaks, we're going to go by that, or what is the law intended to do? And when it comes to black people, there is no letter of the law given. It is spirit of the law. I'm sorry, no excuses. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. Lock them up. But when we see these rich white folks and these hyphenated names get caught up in the same thing, whether they shoot up a school or shoot up a hospital or shoot up a job, they get spirit of the law. Well, we'll give him life because he's on medication.
So I was just saying, this is Philo the Great. So you mentioned something when you first started. What you were saying, and the first thing you said is don't stop just voting black. Now, and that was so key. That was so key. And I want to say this because I want to ask you a question, and anybody else on the panel can answer this question. But we got a lot of successful brothers and sisters that come from the inner city, that come from projects, that come from low-income homes, that have went to college to further their education, who are now successful. How do we get these brothers and sisters in office? How do we get these brothers and sisters to get in office and speak on our behalf, to get up there to change these laws? Because we got people out here running like Kamala Harris with these stunts that they pull to try to get a lynching law changed in favor of LBGT, so you can't lynch a LBGT. So how do we get the ones that come from the inner city who want to fight on our behalf to sit in these offices that you speak of?
Right. I think that one thing as black leaders, you need to be grooming and training these people to fill your spot. Now, in a lot of cities, you have black leaders that I'm holding on to my spot. It's not just against anybody black, but they don't want nobody to get their spot. And they never stop to think you're getting too old, you're getting too tired. You should be grooming 20, 30 of these young guys in that community. They may not fulfill your spot, but they'll get on another board, they'll get on another commission, and they're learning the system, and they're going back, and they're telling the other brothers about it. But we have to understand that any position we get, 25 years ago, I couldn't see retiring. Today it's a reality. But with these young folks that came behind me, officers, black or white, I trained them on how I survived out here, how I developed relationships. So I may be gone, but the work that I put in place will be carried on by other officers who see that the way I did it works. And we need to do that. If you're a council person and, you term or whatever, you should be looking. You should already know that young brother that's out there, that you can say, okay, I want you to start hanging around me. I want to sit down with you for an hour Saturday morning for coffee. Let's talk. You need to consider doing this. I need to get you groomed. This is what to expect. We have got to invest in our own. We can't say I made it, because if we didn't make it, my making it didn't do anything.
Good question. Does anybody else want to chime in? Because I have another question. I don't want to hog up the interview. Anybody else want to say anything before I ask him another question?
Yeah, I heard champion replies. That's all I want to say. Champion replies.
Champion replies. Thank you. Yes. So I want to ask you, because I'm thinking of the outcome, and like I said, I think that it is my opinion. I don't represent everybody, but I think that this Daniel Hahn person is protecting his officers. In my opinion, he's doing a very, very good job doing that. So I want to know what is this whole thing about the Attorney General is doing its own investigation. There's been a federal review. I mean, is anything going to change? Because it just doesn't seem like I should have any great expectations. Like I don't really see any hope. I don't think these people will be charged.
Valerie,
I don't think they're going to be fired.
Yeah, can I comment on the Attorney General in California? Because I can speak on that.
Sure.
Okay, this is an Attorney General. This is going to be a crucial moment in this particular case, because if he co-signs with the police, then it's filthy all the way through the system. And I want to make a comment that I don't see much happening with him. He's a Hispanic. He's not going to put his neck out for blacks. And by the way, this chief, he's biracial. He's part black and white. He's not going to put his neck on the line for black people. It's going to have to come from the ground. And it's going to take a lot of courage. And I would suggest that people really read that Willie Lynch indoctrination, because if you're suffering from that, you need to go hide now, because this is not for cowards what's getting ready to go down. It's not. If you're a coward in your heart, go hide somewhere. If you call yourself an African American after what you're seeing now, you're lost.
Hey, Val, just real quick, on a lot of these shootings, when we as I said earlier, knowing the enemy, and I agree with everything the brother just said. You have to understand, cities, they're not protecting the cops. They don't care about the officers. And officers haven't woken up and seen that yet. You don't believe me? Die. They will replace you and give somebody else going to drive the car and just retire out of it. They understand deep pockets and money, and that's what it's about. And they have to protect the officers to protect against the big, huge lawsuits. They have to protect them. And that's what this is about. Because they got no truck for throwing an officer up under the bus. Trust me, they don't. But if they protect that officer and they find no wrongdoing internally, and you don't have, for instance, I'll tear their ass up on myself, but if you don't have other officers out there saying this was tactically wrong, this was done wrong, this was a violation, if the officers remain quiet, and I'm speaking to the black officers right now who say nothing, who just relatively sit silent, certainly not everybody, but a majority of them. And if you don't open the doors to show the community, hey, I know I saw the video you saw, but from my experience, let me show you what was wrong with this video. Let me show you. We have to educate the public. And that's the job of not just black officers, but all officers. If you're good and you're there to protect and serve, then start protecting the community instead of yourself. Start serving the least instead of the motives of the most. And then maybe we can get true justice. But the cities care about the lawsuits and the money. They have to protect the officers to protect the city coffers. And that's why we see some of these egregious things, and nobody's going to talk about it.
I wanted to just make a real quick note. I want to piggyback on what Philip said earlier. It was someone did their homework. You know, social media does a great job putting people on Front Street. But it was brought to our attention that the DA, a lot of the people who helped put her in office were people who are part of the legal system already, like sheriffs and cops. And I mean, there was absolutely no way she was going to vote against them, you know, because, like, when they showed, like, all her supporters, like, it was just people from all walks of the legal system, just, like, making sure, like Philip said, how do we put our people in those positions when you got a whole wall of protection, a freaking, you know, Berlin Wall of protection that they help put these people in office in order to secure that position and make sure that you never have a voice. So I don't know. I'm just throwing up my hands
our police union here.
Well, there's hope, Valerie. There's hope.
The police union will get behind and endorse these people. And when citizens hear that the police union is supporting this individual, then what do? We got people operating on fear. Well, if the police are doing it, then it must be a good thing. Well, now this person owes the police union a favor. See, and that's how that works. When you see these unions, particularly your police unions, what did Trump do when he gave that one speech? He lined up a bunch of police officers behind him. What did that do to far right-wing conservative America? He's pro-police. He's done nothing for police. He's put their lives in jeopardy. But the optics were that he's pro-police, and officers sat there and clapped. So they get used as a tool.
The last question I want to ask, we only have time for this last because we got to wrap in like 5 minutes. Do you think that the mayor, I actually thought that this was going to, of course, have go into a whole other direction, but when the mayor came out and apologized, I mean, I just thought that this was going to lend itself to a different energy, but then it's just like all of a sudden I just feel like, I think the word we used earlier was hoodwink. It just seemed like it just shifted, you know, and it was like a in-your-face kind of resolve, and it was just like we don't care what you think. We don't care how you feel. We don't care who this affected. This is our position. We're going to stand by it. You're going to like it or not like it. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of one of those kind of verdicts.
I can comment.
What was his role? What's going on in Sacramento?
Let me comment on the mayor of Sacramento, because that's who you must be talking about. Now, you got to remember this mayor and also that chief of police, let me show you how scandalous it is. When the DA ran for office, they all endorsed her. So look at the filth they're putting out. It's like a sham. They voted for her to be reelected in a landslide, that chief and also the mayor. The only one who had the balls to go against her was the guy we voted in, our brother City Councilman Alan Wayne Warren. He was the only one that voted against her, and we would have recalled his ass if he would have endorsed her. And so he was wise enough to have some guts. You're going to have guts now. You can't be no Uncle Tom. You can't be no as these young people call it, cooning. You're going to have to. I would suggest you look at Savior's Day 2019, Louis Farrakhan's speech. A lot of people are afraid of him, but he loves black people, and he's got courage, too. Right. So don't be afraid of him, you young people. Take a look at that. He's a wise elder.
I think when mayors speak, you can't put any credibility in it. It's not apologetic. It's purely politics. He needs the black vote down the line somewhere, and no matter what comes either way or other, he can say, well, the courts found this or the courts found that. The mayor's worried about an explosion. See, he's the mayor. It's going to fall on his head. But now,
he's going to get one in Sacramento.
Right.
He's going to get one here.
Right, but during his apology, it was on the police department. And he came out and he made his apology, and that's fine. I don't know his heart. Maybe he meant it, maybe he didn't. But he's looking at political, trying to survive politically. That case was handled wrong. I did a show on it when it came out and went point by point, every single thing from a police perspective of what was done wrong. You don't know what's in his hands. Why are you shooting at a target you're not sure of? Target acquisition, rule 1. By point, right. The mayor, that's just, that's semantics. It means his apology means absolutely nothing. He just didn't want his city burnt down, and now he's got a powder keg.
Listen, politics is over. Politics is over. Okay. Yeah, I just want to say politics is over. Local politics is over. That's why they got to go ask folks to help people locally. We need to stop all that. That stuff is over, man. Fight for your life. And don't let no police officer put you in no headlock. And I'm talking about officers, because we got Stan Mason. He's an officer. That's the one we love, not officers.
Yes. And again, congratulations regarding your retirement, Officer Stan. Thank you guys to the panel. Thank you to everybody.